The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Oh, good morning. There we are. Tuesday edition of the show. Welcome to the show. The producer in charge is the boss, Dale Cooper, today. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. We're in the Jarrett Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit jarrett-construction.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, Spring Street, Charleston. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor on Virginia Street, downtown Charleston. Tony's winter hours, Mondays 11 to 3, Tuesday through Friday, 10:30 to 5:30, Saturdays by appointment only. If you need more, visit bestmastertaylor.com or check out Tony's Facebook page. Welcome to the show. As I said, I've been doing this for a week now, sunny and 75. As we start this morning in the capital city, here in the Jarrett Construction Studios. Day after Groundhog Day, and yes, the Groundhog did tell us we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter. At least Punxsutawney Phil and French Creek Freddy said that. Now, Concord Charlie down at Concord University said the opposite. So we're going to go with what Charlie says. But today we do have snow on the way. More on that coming up a little bit later on. Also going to introduce you to a gentleman by the name of Ted Boettner. He's a Democrat who's running for state senate in District 17. We'll talk to him. Plus your calls and texts are welcome a little bit later on in the show. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Welcome now to the show. Our good friends from the Kanawha Valley Fellowship Group. It's John Jarrett and Dick Daughtry. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave.
Morning, Dave. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for being on the show today. Now, you got some big news about your organization, about your facility. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But first of all, for those who may have not heard you on the show before, Dick or John, either one of you, Dick, we'll start with you. Jump in there. Tell us about this organization that you have.
Sure, Dave. The Kanawha Valley Fellowship Home is a men's sober living facility that is right next door across the parking lot, actually, from WCHS radio. We've been a sober living. We're the oldest one in the state of West Virginia. We were started in 1967 as an outreach mission of the First Presbyterian Church, which is also in this block on the other end, on the Leon Sullivan Way end, and we help men. Originally, it was a halfway house for men that suffered from alcoholism, and it's morphed into a big sober living facility that helps men overcome the component after treatment or incarceration. The sober living component is important, the sober living and the aftercare part. But we provide those services to help people, to give them the time for their minds to heal and their bodies to heal, and to get into a program of action where they learn how to live sober without drugs and alcohol.
Talk about that aftercare after they have gone through this, Nick. Well, we call
aftercare. Actually, the thing we're talking about today is aftercare. We have an intensive phase 1 program that lasts 6 months where it's an intake, and we have a curfew. We drug test randomly often. We feed them. We have addiction counseling. We have a lot of, they have to get either an AA or an NA sponsor. They have to do a lot of positive things to help improve their lives. And they after phase 1, when you graduate from that, aftercare is these are going to be studio style apartments. They're a little more flexibility, that you won't have a curfew anymore, so you can work in the evenings, or you can go to school. And so aftercare, we continue to monitor progress. And we found our outcomes are better when people stay in our facility for at least 1 year after they come in. And
John Jarrett is also with. John, I know you're very involved in this program. Thank you for being here today, sir.
Glad to be
here. I'm going to have you
here.
pull that microphone up to you just a little bit there. There you go. There you go. So talk about your involvement. in all this?
Well, Dave, I'm involved and had blessed to see and meet Dick a year and a half or so ago when we found out.
You guys only met a year and a half ago?
Yeah,
that's about.
I mean,
right.
honestly, yeah. I thought you guys had been friends forever. I mean, really, I did. I'm surprised to hear that. But go ahead.
Well, Dick's the kind of guy it's easy to be friends with, and his mission is one that we're able to support wholeheartedly, and it hits close to home for me. And if you're able to attend the groundbreaking tomorrow, I'll share a little bit more of that story. But my dad was involved with the Kanawha Valley Fellowship Home. He was a resident there back when it was in the house right beside First Presby. And he stayed there for a couple of years back in the late 80s. And I got to meet the executive director when he was staying there, Lou Smith, and got to know a little bit about the program then. And have been blessed at this time in my life to be able to get with the Kanawha Valley Fellowship Home and help support them. And we're looking forward to tomorrow's festivities.
And Dick, this is... you've told your story on the show before, but again, people may be listening for the first time. Tell us your story.
Well, Dave, I suffered from alcoholism. I was a drinker, bad to drink, they say, and from an early age, I started drinking when I was in junior high school, and my family is afflicted. There's alcoholism in my family, and my dad was a recovering alcoholic. In fact, today is the anniversary of his passing, February 3rd, 2019. And he was a person in long-term recovery. He was sober 39 years when he died. And so anyway, I didn't have a bad childhood, but I grew up around alcohol and drinking, and it was one of those things that a habit turned into an obsession that turned into a disease. And the disease, I couldn't quit. When I wanted to quit or when I wanted to do the right thing, I couldn't do it because I was obsessed and compulsed to drink against my will, really. And so it's through the fellowship of the 12-step movement that helped me get sober. And so part of my passion is, I've been a businessman in the past here in West Virginia and Charleston, and I've done a lot of different things. I've been a car dealer, and I've been a boat captain, and I've done consulting work. I've done all sorts of stuff, but as a blessing because of my sobriety, all those things have happened because I was sober. And I've been a volunteer at this organization, the Kanawha Valley Fellowship Home, for over 30 years. And the director retired 5 years ago. I've been there 5 years now. And I applied for the job as a segue into retirement. And we saw a need with the opioid crisis that's amongst us right now. We saw a need to expand because we have turned down more than 1,200 applications in the 5 years I've been there. We need more beds, and we feel we're the best program in the state, and we need more beds. And so it's part of my mission. I got introduced to John, which was fortuitous because I'd have been his friend since childhood if I could, because we're big sports fans and we share a lot of the same interests. So, and then he told me the story about his dad, and that nailed it. And it just, them as a construction partner, and my friend Tom Potts over at Silling Associates, he's retired. He's emeritus now at Silling, but Silling's an architecture firm that's also going to be involved in this project. And just we're going to, it's a mission that's turned into, I'm driven by a sense of purpose and passion, and to get to hear John, I'm tearful every time I hear his story about his dad. It means so much to me that I want to see men. We want to see sick men get well, and we can do that with the help of John and the Kanawha Valley Fellowship Home. Talk about this. So you got a groundbreaking coming up tomorrow, John. Talk about that.
Groundbreaking right next door to the studios here, Dave. Tomorrow morning at 10:30. Dick will get up and tell us a little more about the Fellowship Home and its mission. We'll have a blessing from Pastor William Myers at First Presby. And Dick's been over there with residents from the Fellowship Home. He's already got started. So some of the work's already started with the demolition progress. They've torn down walls and ceilings and light fixtures, and you name it, they've got rid of it. And tomorrow we're going to celebrate the kickoff to the design and the construction to make these 12 studio apartments turn from dream to reality.
So what is it like for those that haven't been in there? What is it like now? Because you say you're going to have these studio apartments in there, but what does it look like now in there? Try to describe that.
Well, it's a big giant open room now.
Mm-hmm.
The building sits on the corner of Brooks and Virginia Street,
Right.
and
as you said, right down the street from us.
right down the street on the corner, across from Charleston Blueprint, and it's a buff brick 2-story building. The Johnstone and Gabhart law firm occupies the first floor, but they're moving out at the end of this month. They bought a house over. We bought the building. We own the building now and control the building. And so the second floor is what we're modifying first. We're going to put the 12 sober living apartments. Later, in another next year, we'll work on the downstairs part, and we'll create a community center that's going to be recovery oriented, and it'll also house our administrative offices and we'll do our addiction counseling, and we'll do other things for the men in the downstairs. But upstairs, it's 4,500 square feet upstairs, and we're going to create these studio style apartments that will allow. We believe that treating men with dignity and respect, we get that in return, and we believe that having an individual a space to call your own, even though you don't own it, it's a place that you can go. It's a respite and it helps people when they're in their I guess their journey to get better from.
Well, I would think too, because it's quote unquote theirs, that they get, and I mean, they can take some ownership in it, and they can,
Absolutely.
decorate it the way that they want. And then you talked about these men that are going out of the community and working. They can come in and, save a little money to get that, that picture on the wall that they want or something like that.
Yeah. Affordable housing is baseline. John and I were discussing that before we came in the green room, that affordable housing or a place to live is a baseline for recovery. Homeless people cannot recover. They can't. They can if they really are motivated, but when you have a place to live, then you can take advantage of the services that are available, the ancillary services with our recovery partners like West Virginia Health Right and Jobs and Hope and the different people that help people get their CPS cases worked out, to get their driver's licenses back. We have oral health partners that help get their teeth fixed, and we have do all sorts of things besides just sober living. It's a program that we operate.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. We're already talking about baseball over at Gomart Ballpark. Now would be a good time to get your season tickets, merchandise, and more. Visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. So this ribbon cutting or the groundbreaking, I guess, is going to be tomorrow at 10:30. All right. But you've also got some other big things. I was kind of perusing your social media, and you've got some fundraisers coming up, right? And we can talk about that as we get a little bit closer. But you got a big event coming up in March. I think I saw that.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yeah, March the 23rd at the Clay Center. We're going to have Chef Paul Smith is going to be the caterer with 1010, and he's going to also talk at our fundraiser. He's a person in recovery and
he's been very, very public about that.
He has, and it's been motivational to a lot of our men. And I want to say something too about the men that we have that have we've the money that we get to help our men that we paid for the demolition. One of our men is named Aaron Nieto, and he has a little small remodeling company that he hires men that from our program, and so the money that they pay us, we return to them. Basically, we regenerate money or turn it back to the men and to help them, to get along. It helps us. So Aaron was really good at getting the demo work done, and it's kind of a cool thing that they can see the progress and they can see the place that they may live one day. Again, it goes back into what we talked about with the apartments. It's a sense of pride that they have. That I built that. All right, give us the details about tomorrow again, John.
10:30 kickoff at 10:30. We'll get over there at 1123 Virginia Street East and have cookies, water. Coffee, fellowship. And Dave, I really appreciate you mentioning this upcoming fundraiser for Kanawha Valley Fellowship Home. If folks in Charleston have an opportunity and they want to see men succeed, men with addiction issues succeed, then contributing to this wonderful organization will help make that happen.
And we'll have have you guys on to talk about this specific fundraiser that you're doing in March. Where can people learn more about your organization? At social media, websites, anything like that?
We're on Facebook, and we there's some videos, some reels and stuff on Facebook, and kvfh.org. That's our initials, Kanawha Valley Fellowship Home. So kvfh.org, you can find that, and you can find more about us, and there's a lot of good information.
And should people reach out? What's the best way if somebody has somebody that needs help and wants more information about the program, or a family member? What's the best way to go about that?
They can call us directly at 304-342-8051. They can access the information on our website. They can contact us on Facebook. They can the application for admission is on the actually on our website. So it's a tab, and it takes about maybe 6 or 7 minutes to fill out, and it comes directly to my computer, and then we print them off, and then we interview everybody. We talk to people that apply. Right now, there's such a backlog. I mean, I have men that need to get in that are kind of. There are other people that are doing the work we do. I don't want to discount what other people do, but we feel like we're the best, and people want to get in because we are the best. But there's a movement in here, a recovery movement in West Virginia that is really, really positive. We have a lot of good things going on. Our legislature supports us. Our community leaders, our mayor, our county commission particularly supports us, and the United Way. A lot of organizations support what we do, and it's a we thing. We get better. We get better as a community and as a state and as Charleston, West Virginia.
Dick and John, I appreciate you both being here. Thanks a lot. We'll see you tomorrow. And thanks a lot. 923 of the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. All month long, get yourself a 14-inch, one-topping, heart-shaped pizza. Only $14.99 for delivery, pickup, or dine-in. Visit HustonsPizza.com. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
I'm Doug Leach, founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. We've done a number of projects with Jarrett Construction. Finding people that really care about what they do and care about what we do is pretty unique. In Jarrett Construction, they care. They're really, really good people. Good people do the right thing, and they're very skilled. They have all the qualities that make up just a perfect construction partner, and they just built us a phenomenal building.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Retirement isn't a finish line, it's a new beginning. But are you really ready? I'm John Burdett with 4th Avenue Financial, and I help people just like you turn confusion into confidence. Whether retirement is 5 years away or right around the corner, now is the time to make a smart plan. Let's make sure your retirement income lasts as long as you do. Call today or visit 4thavenuefinancial.com. 4th Avenue Financial. Retirement done right.
Securities offered through J.W. Cole Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through J.W. Cole Advisors Incorporated.
The latest in news, talk, and sports when 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Call 304-344-9140 for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Welcome back to the show. It's 9:25, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy, West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine, a podcast promoting healthier lifestyles that are beyond the state. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetronews.com, under the podcast menu. We'll get to your calls and texts coming up a little bit later. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. He's a Democrat running for State Senate District 17, and he joins us now. Good morning, Ted Boettner, and welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Tell us who Ted Boettner is.
That's a really good question. Well, I grew up here on the west side of Charleston, went to J. Robbins, Stonewall Junior High School and Capitol High School. Then went to WVU later on. Came back after grad school and, made a life here for my family, met my wife here. We have two wonderful children, Lucy and Sid, and I coach Sid's soccer team on the west side of Charleston. Go Foxes.
All right. Little plug.
Yeah, a little plug for the West Side Foxes. And I'm an elder at my church, which is right across the street from you guys at Kanawha United Presbyterian Church, which I've been on session there for a while. I enjoy sports activities and things like that, like to hunt with my family in Greenboro County a lot. And, over the last couple of years, I've just sort of seen the state and our community sort of go in a direction that wasn't preferred, and I'd like to do something about that.
Okay,
So
what do you see them as in going into a direction that bothers you or troubles you?
Well, I think one thing that bothers me is the lack of accountability at the State House and the lack of public purpose there as well. And I think, about a decade ago, when the current leaders came into office, we were promised that if we just, passed right to work, we got rid of prevailing wage, we made big tax cuts, that we would be in the land of milk and honey. And 10 years later, we can look at what's happened. We can see that West Virginia has fewer jobs today than we did 10 years ago, fewer jobs in Kanawha County than we did 10 years ago. We've lost about 75,000 people in our population. Meanwhile, our electricity rates are up 50% over that time period. And now we're seeing cuts in healthcare, especially for state workers who are on PEIA. So a lot of those factors are coming to play. And I think for a long time, we just need to have some balance up to the legislature. It's good to have all kinds of opinions. One thing I'm really proud of is I try to talk and work with everybody. And I think there's a lot of value to having a diversity of opinions and working on good legislation together in a bipartisan fashion. And I'm hoping to bring that up to the legislature.
Now, this is District 17. Talk about the district.
Yeah, the district starts in St. Albans, and it goes through South Charleston, South Hills, and Kanawha City. Then it goes right over the bridge there in Kanawha City, and then goes down to Malden, Pratt, all the way down to Cedar Grove. Then it goes all the way back up to Elkview, Quick, Clendenin, Sissonsville, and comes whipping back around. So it's a very sort of
that's a very diverse district. I mean, as far as, and it's what always interests me because, even though we're all West Virginians and we're all Kanawha Valleyans, the needs, wants of one of those areas you mentioned may not be the same as the other. How do you
absolutely? I think
how do you answer all that?
Well, I think for a long time we're not actually listening to people in those districts, and I will say right out the front, I think over the last decade, the Democrats in this state have lost the trust of a lot of hardworking West Virginians, and we're not going to regain that trust by one election with me. But I am going to try my hardest to listen to people and to understand where they're coming from, and not to belittle anybody, and to work with them on, addressing the issues that matter to them. So if it's small businesses or families who are struggling to make ends meet, or if it's a right to repair bill that people are concerned about, I think directly going into that district, like Clendenin, especially in the rural parts, and listening to people. I mean, everybody knows the eastern side of the county has been completely ignored, and I plan on visiting all of those areas and going door to door and listening to people and bringing that back. Because I think, for far too long, we just haven't been able to do that. And whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, we have a lot more in common than what divides us. And I think social media, when you're alone at home and you feel like, it really can make you angry at people. But it's a lot harder to be angry when you're talking one-on-one.
Yeah,
and you're talking
amazing how that works.
I know. So that's why I wish we could go back to listening to radio.
Amen.
Sometimes I wonder if the internet was a mistake.
I think it's a passing fad. I'll be honest with you. I think I say that in jest, of course. You said that that in some ways you feel that maybe the Democrats had lost some of the trust of the people. Why do you say that?
I think for several reasons. I mean, over the last several decades, government is about competency, about bringing the goods to the people. So people feel a difference in their daily life from what you have done. And during that time, we did things like privatize workers' comp. We did huge business tax cuts when Governor Manchin was in the legislature, when he was a governor. And nothing perspired from that. Nothing happened. And we were promised, if we just do this, it'll keep happening. And I think those false promises, you lose people's trust when you don't run government efficiently, accountable, and have competency in government to really carry out the mission, and you build it to fail. It really disappoints a lot of people, and it says to them, well, government's not working, and corporations aren't doing much for me. The nonprofit sector's not doing much for me. So it's going to take a long time to build that trust, because institutional trust right now is at its lowest point. That's true. I can remember no one believes anybody. No one feels like anybody's doing anything. And that's the one thing this campaign is about reaching people, listening to people, not judging, and realizing that we just have so much more in common if we sit down and talk to one another. And we might not agree on everything. Mm-hmm. That's not about that. But it's about not being condescending. It's about not getting wrapped up in identity politics, about the tribe that you're in, and about concentrating on what's best for West Virginia.
This is District 17. Again, we're talking to Ted Boettner, who is a Democrat candidate for State Senate District 17, and that seat is the seats are currently held by Tom Takubo and Ann Charnock, right?
Yeah, Ann Charnock.
Okay, so that's the seat you would be running for, is her seat.
Yeah, this
right?
is the unexpired.
The unexpired seat. Okay, just want to make clear on that. What's your campaign style going to be like? What do you plan on doing? You talked about listening to people. Once everybody can walk safely outside again.
Yeah.
what do you? Are you a door to door kind of guy? You gonna do some meet the candidates type events? What would you like to do?
All the above. I think government works best when it's closest to the people, and that means listening, talking to them. There's a lot. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of frustration out there, and a lot of people have just tuned things out. And I think going door to door. Meeting with the elected officials all over this district, meeting with the city council folks that are here, meeting with community leaders, meeting especially with small businesses that are up Campbell's Creek, that are in Sissonsville, that are in Kanawha City and other areas. It's vastly important, because I watched that it took almost like 2.5 years to fix McCorkle Avenue. We built the New River Gorge Bridge in less than 3 years. I think today that might take 20 years because of how inefficient things are working. So I think bringing that back, realizing that there is somebody there fighting for you, listening to you, but it's going to take a long process to do that. And it's not going to happen in just this year with me running or anything like that. But I hope we can begin that process to listen to the people and to build that trust back.
If you are elected, Ted, the numbers. There are not a whole lot of Democrats in the State House right now. You're running for the Senate, not a lot there, certainly not a lot in the House. If you are elected, you're not going to see a lot of fellow Ds there. I mean, maybe you will, because there's a lot on the ballot, okay? But as of right now, if you were elected today, there's not a lot. How do you plan on having those conversations when the Republicans have a super duper majority? How do you plan on having those conversations?
Well, I think I will tell you too, like up until a couple months ago, I was a registered independent. And I actually, came into the Democratic Party again because I think that I felt a duty, to help, capture what originally the party was about, which was standing up for working people. I think it's drifted far too much into academia and the professional class, and not really gone back to its roots in working class West Virginians. So my hope is to work with legislators on all kinds of policies. And I've had a long track record of being at the Capitol. When I was at the West Virginia Center on Budget and Policy, we worked with Republicans and Democrats all the time on all types of bills. We passed a little bill to expand unemployment insurance for when people lost their jobs, that they could get they could be put on part-time unemployment and be part-time at their job until things got better at the small business and they could hire them back. I mean, there's a myriad of policies. We all think that we should get cell phones out of schools, that we shouldn't be teaching just using iPads. We all believe that we need to work on literacy and math and English and writing at school. Like, if you can't graduate high school with being proficient in those things, there's a serious problem, and that's not happening right now. We've seen really good education reform in Mississippi, Alabama, and I know a lot of the Republican legislators are very interested in looking at those things. There's just a whole array of issues that are, I try not to look at any issue as partisan per se. And I don't really want to engage in that partisan activity. What I want to do is try to get things done. And I'll work with everybody. And I think I have a long track record of doing that as well.
When you look at the current makeup, Ted, of the legislature, despite the fact, and this is the House, I know you're running for Senate, but we heard there was a press conference. They said, we're going to kind of shy away from some of the social issues, and we want to focus on this. Well, we're already seeing these things being brought up, Charlie Kirk Day, and a lot of different things. Bibles, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that's kind of not what the original message was. The Bible in the school and so on and so forth. Where are you on social issues?
Well, I think first and foremost, I believe in the Constitution, freedom of speech, and equality, and that we all have those fundamental rights. It depends on whose party's in power, whether we believe in free speech sometimes. And that's gone back and forth a lot the last couple of years. So when it comes to some of those issues, I fully understand where people are coming from. When people have hesitancy about, gender affirming surgery, I totally understand where people are coming from on those issues. When people are questioning whether, men should be in sports, I understand where they're coming from on a lot of those issues. And I think not throwing names at people who are just trying to figure those things out, because a lot of this stuff is very contested territory. And people are coming from good places on a lot of it. And I think it's up to us to help have that dialogue and that discussion so we can focus what's really important here in West Virginia. Because when I talk to most people, what they care about more is what's happening at the supermarket than they care about what's happening with the stock market or any of these social issues.
Talking to Ted Boettner. Now, that last name may sound familiar to people. Your family's got a history of service in public service, right?
Yeah, my father was in the state legislature, I think about 16 years.
But yet you still want to do this.
I know. I think I need to get my head examined. That's what I was saying earlier. But, one of my favorite memories was going up to the Capitol all the time as a kid and just being inspired by what a lot of policymakers were doing. I mean, one of my favorite memories was being on my dad's shoulders when Jesse Jackson came here. And I just remember getting up on his shoulder like, preach, brother. It's just one of those little memories I had. I met Arnold Schwarzenegger when he came here, and Muhammad Ali came to the Capitol. Those are some of my heroes from childhood. So I have really fond memories of that. And I feel urging to, get in public service and deliver for the people.
Do you have a website or social media or anything?
We're working on that right now.
Okay. All right. I do this with every candidate we have, Ted, but we call it the final 30, and it's not actually timed or anything like that. But why should someone vote for Ted Boettner, Democrat for State Senate, District 17?
I think if you're interested in having someone in office that believes in accountability, public service, and bringing together people to do what's right for West Virginia, to be bipartisan and nonpartisan at the same time, and who feels like the state is maybe moving in the wrong direction on a host of issues, and that the legislature would benefit by having somebody in office who cares deeply about working families in this state and puts their interests first above large out-of-state corporations who tend to dominate the process up at the Capitol. I think you would try to, look at me as a good candidate for that position.
Ted Boettner, he is a Democrat running out of District 17 for State Senate. Appreciate you being here. Good luck with your campaign. All right, it's 20 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Generations Ford of Hurricane, your family and locally owned Ford dealership, providing customers with X-Plan discount pricing on select new Ford vehicles, meaning you pay what Ford suppliers pay. And if you need service, they offer customer pickup and delivery. Visit today just off the Hurricane exit of I-64 or online, generationsford.com. It's generationsford.com. One destination for every generation. Generations Ford, see dealer for details. Rest of the show is yours. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
The Dave Allen Show is presented in part by Generations Ford in Hurricane, part of the Eric J. Tarr family of businesses.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
High school basketball tonight features your hometown teams. Hurricane at South Charleston. Tune in tonight at 7 on 580 WCHS. Sports this week on the WCHS Sports Network as wall-to-wall basketball. Locally, we've got high school hoops featuring Hurricane, South Charleston, George Washington, Sissonville, and Hoover. On the college side, it's UConn at St. John's Friday night, plus a Saturday doubleheader. Syracuse visits Virginia at 11:30, then rivalry night as North Carolina hosts Duke at 6:15. Big matchups, hometown teams, all free over the air. Check the full schedule at WCHSnetwork.com/sports.
Welcome back to the show. It's 18 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan. If you're injured, hire Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Dale Cooper is our producer today. Rest of the show is yours. Bigley, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor, text 304-935-5008. Text says the West Virginia legislature off to a good start. 10 commandments in classrooms, Charlie Kirk Day, religious exemptions from vaccines, and deeper tax cuts. What we don't need attention on: chemical tanks being stored near drinking water sources, getting drinkable water to Wayne and Wyoming counties, money to do road maintenance, and money to pay state workers such as plow drivers a higher wage. Nah, Charlie Kirk Day will improve West Virginia a billion-fold, says a texter. Sarcasm noted. Coming up later today, Metro News Midday, 13 News, and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me. How do you feel about raising the minimum wage? Delegate Hollis Lewis, Democrat from here in the Kanawha County area out of the 57th, would like to see it raised. We'll talk to him about that. Plus, Hoppy Kercheval, Dean the GOAT, is in the capital city today. He'll be on with Wilson and Meadows at the Capitol a little bit later on, efforting to get Mr. Kercheval on this show today as well. State Democratic Party Chair Mike Pushkin will stop by the show today, and more on a lot of the goings-on under the Capitol Dome, and, of course, Open Line West Virginia. Metro News Midday with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barrett and me. And I don't know why I keep having a hard time saying Amanda Barron's name. It's really not that difficult, Dave. Amanda Barron and me coming up at noon today, brought to you by Salango Law. Now, tomorrow on the local show, lots of stuff going on here in Kanawha City here as of late. You may have heard Mayor Goodwin on the show yesterday talking about it. Well, Chad Robinson, who's a city councilman who covers that area, is going to join me coming up on the show tomorrow. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Bridge Valley Community and Technical College. Visit bridgevalley.edu. Bridge Valley Community and Technical College. Your career starts here. Texas, Consistentville gets some parks and trails. That area is incredibly boring. Some parks and trails would be nice, but I bet the tweakers and litterers would destroy them. Good old Sissonville, says a texter. Now, I tell you, the unofficial mayor of Sissonville, Delegate Dana Farrell, would not appreciate that text. I'm just saying. Text says, not knocking this man, Dave, but all you hear is the same things from every politician. I believe you have to be out talking, meeting people, and paying attention to their needs. Then after their election is over, you never hear from any of them again. Our current reps in D.C. never even have a town hall, says a texter. You know, I understand that sentiment, and you're right. However, I will say this to kind of play devil's advocate here. One of the reasons why some of our delegations, and it's not just a West Virginia thing, they don't want to have town halls is because they see what's going on at other town halls across the country. Safety issues, whether it's Republican or Democrat. I mean, if people at our and I like to think that West Virginians are a little bit more respectable than that. We don't have a lot of the problems here. Actually, we have none that we have in other areas. I would like to think that if a Senator Capito, Congressman Moore, Congressman Miller, Senator Justice had a town hall, that West Virginians that even disagree with them would show up to have their concerns heard. I would like to think about that, or I'd like to think that way and think that everything would go smoothly. But last week in Minnesota, we just had a representative who was attacked. And I don't care how you feel about Representative Omar. She doesn't deserve to be attacked, nor does a Republican. If it were a Republican standing there, I'd say the same thing. So I understand from a safety standpoint why they don't want to have them. But I also say that's not the way we do things primarily here in West Virginia. I would say that. So again, kind of as I tend to do, kind of riding the fence on that. Text says, the day the music died. February 3rd, 1959, rock and roll lost three of its brightest stars. Small plane crashed in Iowa. Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, J.P. the Big Bopper Richardson, along with pilot Roger Peterson. The tragedy later immortalized in the day the music died. Don McLean's song American Pie, 67 years ago today. And a follow-up text to that, number 3, the world has lost another legend. Chuck Negron, one of the founding members of Three Dog Night, passed away early today at his home in California. He was 83 years old. 1971, I was talking to a radio friend of mine earlier today, who was on the radio in the early 1970s. 1971, you could not go anywhere. I don't remember 1971, by the way. I was born, but I don't remember it. Couldn't go anywhere that you didn't hear the song Joy to the World, which, by the way, I want that play. My wife knows that song will be played at my funeral. I'm not planning it, all right, just so you know, even though I got some sickness going, I'm not planning it or anything, but I'm saying that's I want that song played at my funeral. Song written by Hoyt Axton, by the way, just in case you didn't know. High school basketball, weather permitting, of course, will be on your airwaves tonight here on WCHS. We have coverage of South Charleston taking on Hurricane tonight here on WCHS. Text says, if you want Sissonville votes, pronounce the town correctly. It's not Sissonsville. It's not plural. Sends a texter. Marshall Day at the Capitol. Lots of green and white there. Wilson and Meadows live at the Capitol today. They'll be there today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Marshall President Brad Smith will be on the show with them today with TJ and Northern Dave. Also, Gerald Harrison, the Marshall AD, will be there. And Gibby is in the house. Marshall football coach Tony Gibson, as well as baseball coach Brad Beals, and a bunch of other green and white folks, not literally, will be at the Capitol today, and all of them will be on Talk Line with Wilson and Meadows coming up today at 10:06. And just to be fair, just so you know, tomorrow is WVU Day at the Capitol. Tex says, when it comes to gender-affirming care, you know where people are coming from. Would that be common sense? Sends the texter. Text says, strange, there are a lot of similarities between Charlie Kirk and Martin Luther King Jr. Both faith-based men, both were for nonviolent protesting, both preached tolerance and acceptance, but for some reason, Democrats seem to have a problem with having a Charlie Kirk Day here. MLK Day is federal, but that's not, says the texter. I've read a lot about this Charlie Kirk Day. I'll be honest with you, because I am in the world of media. I had heard of Charlie Kirk. I couldn't tell you a single thing about him until, tragically, I don't want anybody to ever lose their life for anything, okay, in that respect. I was aware of Charlie Kirk. I was not, I won't say I was a fan or I wasn't a fan. I didn't know anything about him until after he was tragically killed. But I will say this. And if this makes me sound super liberal, then I apologize. I'm not. I'm more independent. Not a good look for West Virginia to have a Charlie Kirk Day months after doing away with Juneteenth. I'm a PR guy. Not a good look. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Pinnacle is hiring. They have 2 positions available for field techs. Experience not required, but would be helpful. Check out pinnaclecorp.net for more information or call 304-757-5204. Pinnacle Consultants, what you don't know can hurt you. We are going to take a break. I got some more stuff I want to get to the news. Plus, we'll check in, I should say, with the Capitol Boys, Northern Dave and TJ, when we come back on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
The new year is underway, and it's time for a new beginning in a new ride. Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Hurricane is standing by to help you start off the new year right with a new 4-wheel drive that's ready to tackle even the harshest of West Virginia winters. Gene and Ryan have marked down inventory across the lot, both new and pre-owned, and you're not going to want to miss out on these deals. Not only is their lot completely stacked with inventory, but there's also new cars coming in all the time. And you know you're you're going to get the best deal possible at Walker because Gene and Ryan built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games at Walker, just honest, fair deals. So what's the holdup? Walker has something for everyone this winter, so get moving. Take that short 20-minute drive from Charleston or Huntington to Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Just off the Hurricane exit of I-64, Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, making friends one deal at a time.
Hi, I'm Grant Maltba, Project Manager with CEC. Ever dreamt of working hands-on with wildlife? As a bat biologist at CEC, I do just that. Every day is a new adventure, tackling unique challenges and helping clients meet their Endangered Species Act requirements. It's not just rewarding for me, but it boosts our local economy and aids bat conservation too. Want to make a difference in the field? Join us at CEC. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up with care management that ensures doctors work together on complicated conditions. We show up with the latest in online tools to make healthcare easier to use anytime. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
Mustane's premier outdoor sports show is back and bigger than ever. 24th annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show presented by Can-Am returns to Milan Park in Morgantown Saturday and Sunday, March the 7th and 8th. Over 100,000 square feet of everything outdoors. Over 200 vendors all under one roof. Complete details at WVOutdoorsportsShow.com, a WVRC media event. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Text says, your guest was right about lawmakers not listening to their constituents. Example, Public Service Commission reform, lower utilities and food prices. Our schools are bankrupted. Nothing being done. Text says, Dave, I'm an independent voter, and I know what the Constitution says about entering my home without a warrant or profiling, and now they want to limit where I can take my concealed gun. This is America today. Text says, you hadn't heard of Charlie Kirk because you're not a child. Text says, big business keeps poisoning our water, and the Republicans don't care because they're the ones that change the laws for oversight. Text says, Dave, could you share this update on the air? The Fixum Clinic in Charleston in need of help. Their furnace went out last week, and they have been without heat ever since. As of now, they will not be offering trap and release walk-ins for surgery until the heat issue is fixed. Preventative care hours are to be announced at this time. Are there some in the community who would possibly help the employees and the animals with a few space heaters for them? Also, would any great local businesses be able to help with their furnace? They assist the animal shelter, and it's such a special place, and they need our help. Says Texter. Text says, raise the minimum wage, ? Do you know what that'll do to the price of fast food? Shoot, these places still pay chump change at prices are equivalent to a sit-down restaurant. No, not reading that. Text says, I think the West Virginia Senate is more sad over Charlie Kirk's death than Erica Kirk is. The woman has been on a press tour wringing every dollar out of his death. Text says, Omar still held town hall and stayed. Don't run cover. I'm sorry for these people, Dave. They serve the public or not. You're such a fanboy of politicians. They're not your buddies, dude. They don't need you to run apologetics for their constant local absence. Maybe disguise a town hall as a ribbon cutting for Biden funds, and the Capitol will show. Quickly, dueling Super Bowl halftime shows. Bad Bunny, of course, the featuring act at the actual game in Santa Clara. That's the act that that's the act that a lot of people will be going to Facebook to complain about. I, for one, used the halftime portion of the show to reload on beer and snacks, so I couldn't care less who the halftime show is. Haven't watched in years. And I'm also 55, which means I'm way out of the demo for something called Bad Bunny, who, by the way, is like the biggest star on the planet right now. So one of them anyway. Not hating, just really not my thing. The All-American halftime show being done as a protest for the other show, which I presume will be in Spanish or something. Kid Rock, full disclosure, I'm a huge fan of musically. Does the theme to this show, which I stole. Fan of his music, okay? Kid said something like the other show will be some guy in a dress singing in Spanish, and I'll just stop you right there. More likely Bad Bunny won't be singing. Hardly anyone does that anymore, and it probably won't do it at the Kid Rock show either. They're all likely lip syncing, which is another reason why I don't watch it. But I have this alternative show, Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, and others, head to head with the traditional halftime show. Again, really, I only care about the game, and it's just an excuse for a lot of people to go to Facebook to complain about, what is this noise? And they'll go on the other side to, say the same thing as well. I watch the game, and you'll be lucky if I stay awake for the whole thing. To support my boss, Dale Cooper, though, go Seahawks. All right. Let's go to the Capitol right now. Let's check in with Northern Dave and TJ Meadows. Good morning, boys.
Talking about?
What's that? The first part was cut off there. What'd you say?
I said, who is Bad Bunny? What are you talking about?
Well, that's what the majority of America will be saying, who is Bad Bunny, and then other people will say, well, he's like the biggest star on the planet right now, and because people of our age don't know who he is doesn't mean he's not a big deal. I had never heard of him either, but he just, he's multi-Grammy Award winning, number one song after number one song. So we're just old, guys. I mean, hell, I want the Statler brothers up there. Come on.
Speak for yourself.
The last, 8 minutes of this show has been nothing but Dave yelling at kids to get off his lawn.
This is Bad Bunny.
It hurts when I pee. But go ahead.
Sometimes the kids need to be told. They played guitars on stage when I was a youngin'.
They did.
You sound like the guy from The Simpsons. That's really good, actually.
Are you guys going to do any work up there today?
No,
it's Marshall.
not
Come on,
today.
Wilson. It's Marshall Day. It's Marshall Day.
It is. It's like a giant family reunion for me here at the Capitol today, and it is spectacular. So we're going to have a lot of Kelly Green on the show. Brad Smith is going to stop by. AD Gerald Harrison's going to join us. Tony Gibson's going to join us. We'll talk some Capitol happenings. Delegate Scott Heckert and Brad Hoppy's in the building. He had to crash the Marshall party today. He'll join us as well.
Well, and we put the invite out to Mr. Kercheval. I know he's in town today. If he'd like to come by the studio here, we'd love to have him on set. We love to have the dean, the goat.
He said he wants nothing to do with you.
Well, tell him Amanda will be here. Okay, I'll go out for a hot dog or something. Amanda will be here. How's that?
Oh, jeez.
That would probably that might make the deal work.
All right. Well, you boys have fun up there. I know you haven't been up there in a couple of weeks, and you'll be live doing it at 10:06. And enjoy Marshall Day. Gerald Harrison, the athletic director, of Marshall, is the kind of guy that would make me want to run through a brick wall. I mean, he's that kind of a motivator. I'm looking forward to hearing his interview today.
He is very smart, very intelligent, but he's funny. He's got a self-deprecating humor, hilarious guy, and from everybody I've talked to, he's also a great guy to work for. So I really like the leadership at Marshall, and I bleed green, I get it, but with Brad, with Gerald, with some of the others at Marshall, I really like the direction the university's
I
going.
would be remiss if I didn't point out that Tony Boone County Gibson in the house today, fellow Boone Countian. So
Gibby's in the house. All right, boys, we'll be listening to 10:06. Thanks a lot.
All right, Dave.
All right, quickly on the weather. Some snow is going to develop later today. Not a lot for the Kanawha Valley. Might even mix with some rain. The problem is it's going to fall on top of what's already out there. So as you drive home today, meteorologist Brian Hughes says you could have some slick conditions this evening, into tonight, and into tomorrow morning. But hey, Coop, like next Tuesday it's going to be like 60. All right, sunny and 75. I'll see you later today on Metro News Midday. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
W243DRFM Charleston and W283AQ Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.